Welcome to Bull, out for the.
What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Jason Plays back in this jank with another video. And in today's video, I want to highlight a few titles that caught my attention during the reveal of the Nintendo Switch 2. So the first game that caught my attention was Mario Kart World, which is going to retail for $79.99 digital and $89.99 physical. The main thing that makes Mario Kart so different is that it has a free roam mode where you can basically turn off the track and go anywhere you want. Just like the Forza Horizon series, instead of it being individual siloed tracks, it will be like a huge map. So other than Mario Kart with the combined openness of like the Crew Motorfest or the Forza series, not too many details on each mode was mentioned, but with the HDR and the extra processing horsepower in this new system, the atmospheres look much more realistic with updated lighting, textures that look great and crisp, and runs at 4K 60, so it looks ultra smooth. Another advantage to Mario Kart World to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is that now you have 24 racers on screen at once instead of 12. Another thing to note is that Mario Kart World will be exclusive to the Switch 2, so you can tell that Nintendo is trying to capitalize off the success of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe that has sold nearly 75 million copies at this point. So Nintendo is banking that they will be able to get those tens of millions of people to migrate over onto the Switch 2, but that would just have to remain to be seen. I've been a fan of Mario Kart since the launch on Super Nintendo. I think the time in my life where I had the most fun playing Mario Kart was Mario Kart 64. I think Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has been the most complete Mario Kart that has been released up to this point, and Mario Kart World looked like it's taking Mario Kart into the next generation. Mario Kart in the open world sounds crazy, and Nintendo says that the $80-$90 price tag is warranted. When the full hands-on previews become available, I'm sure we'll figure out if it is or it isn't. Now, the second game that caught my attention was Donkey Kong Bonanza. Now, I can't say I'm a huge fan of Donkey Kong, but 3D platformers are one of my favorite genres in gaming. 3D Mario for me is the pinnacle of 3D platforming, past and present day. And if you look closely at Donkey Kong Bonanza, it does resemble level design that looks similar to how Mario Odyssey is constructed. The game is very sharp, very detailed, very animated, runs really smooth, and has a focus on destruction. You can see DK burrowing into the ground, punching his way through the level and destroying everything in his path. Donkey Kong Bonanza looks like a blast when it launches July 17th, shortly after the Nintendo Switch debut in June. The next game, of course, is Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. You can control the game in the style of a Wii with the pointer, but you can also take the Joy-Cons and use them like a mouse on a computer and control that way, as well as using the Joy-Cons in split mode or connected to the accessory that makes a full controller or the Pro Controller. So you have plenty of options on how you can control this game. And it has been demonstrated by various industry folks who have had hands-on time with the Switch 2 that you can switch in between each control mode without going to a menu. You could be playing the Switch in split controller mode, set them down on the table, and it'll automatically go to mouse mode. The game looks superb with a sleek art style, smooth performance, 4K 60 mode when docked, and also a 1080p 120 frames per second mode as well. Although this game is coming out on the regular Nintendo Switch, the Switch 2 version is further enhanced with 4K visuals and high frame rates. And even in the screen comparisons, you can see that the Switch 2 version is much clearer than what you get on the Switch 1. Now, the next game was sort of a surprise. Nobody knew that this was coming. there is a game called Dusk. This was a shocker from Software, the acclaimed developer that's behind Dark Souls, Armored Core, and Elden Ring. They have announced a Switch 2 exclusive called Dusk, which possibly could be making its way to the PC sometime in the future, but it could remain a console exclusive for the Switch 2. This was great news for fans of From Software games who have been waiting to see what the next creation would be after Elden Ring. And right now, in order to have that experience, you have to have a Nintendo Switch 2. Now, From Software games aren't really my type of games, but I do respect what they bring to the industry. So this one will be huge for the Nintendo Switch 2. And it's just amazing to see that Nintendo is still able to land exclusives in this day and age. Now, these were more or less the first party titles that caught my attention, but there is something else to note with the Switch 2, because it will also be receiving some of the current generation heavy hitters like Street Fighter 6, Cyberpunk 2077, Final Fantasy 7 Remake Integrate, and Elden Ring. So it's very promising to see very CPU demanding titles making their way to the Switch 2 with what seems to be good performance and image clarity. To be honest, the Switch showing was much better than I anticipated in some cases, because in some comparisons, the Switch 2 is even producing better results than the Xbox Series S, which says a lot for a portable size, low power unit. With these early results being shown, I currently feel that the old Nintendo is back, with many big hitting third-party titles that actually perform in parity with what is on competing platforms. There are various comparisons by different YouTube channels, and I'll leave the links in the description below, have increased my hype to an all-new level, knowing that third-party ports, at least initially, will not be half-baked offerings on the Nintendo console. So overall, they're going to be so many games coming to the Switch 2. EA even announced that Madden and FIFA will finally be making their way back to a Nintendo console. So I expect Nintendo, if the prices can remain affordable, will dominate the landscape with the Switch 2 in the same manner that they did, or better than the Switch 1. So how do you feel about the games that were announced for the Switch 2, and are you excited for any other titles mentioned in this video? If so, let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got for this video. So if you like this content, hit that like button, share with a friend, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Yeah, we gaming ghosts.
I'm walking the bull, go, out for the